from Rainbow Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Macomb. I'm challenging you to figure out where I'm at by logging on to visitscenicrivers.com. It's Wild Bill, but what are you doing here? It's Truck Dynasty's Wild Bill. Well, I just wanted to come down and show them the baddest truck around, this Dodge Ram. It's Rainbow Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Macomb. Y'all come on down and get a real deal, Mr. Mike BB. Right here, my best friend. Y'all come on down, you hear? Come on down, Rainbow Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where the deals are real.
My name is Malcolm Allen, and I'm the moderator. I'm the current president of the Pike County Historical Society. And my family goes back to here. I'm an Allen, so Gabriel Allen was my grandfather who came here. And so this is going to be real informal today, and we're going to conclude with unveiling our marker, and then after that we're going to have a social period of time where everybody can get together and talk. And the first lady that I would like to introduce to you here today, Dale, would you introduce yourself and tell who you are and who wrote this poem? And she's going to read a poem to you.
I'm McGee Clark, and I'm president of the Walthall County Trust for the Preservation of History, Culture, and the Arts. And my co-founder was this wonderful man sitting up here, Dr. Luke Lampton, 17 years ago. Do I hold this?
Just right in front of us.
Right in front. It's. Thank you so much for inviting me. This poem that I'm reading today is written by Mr. Jimmy Dale McDaniel, who is president of the Pike County Genealogical Society, the Southwest Mississippi Genealogical Society. And it's talked about an old grave that he had a very difficult time finding of one of his ancestors that died in childbirth. And I'd like to try to read this poem for you. It's called The Lonely Old Grave at Holmesville. Once on a beautiful and wind-blown day, through the old Holmesville cemetery, curiously, I made my way. When there concealed under an old cedar tree, all enclosed in a withered honeysuckle vine, a mystery laid hidden for someone to find. Pausing a moment there to ponder this forlorn Holmesville grave, it calls out to me to wonder what story lies here to save. Carefully working on bended knees, removing dry dirt and the old leaves, the passing of time has taken its toll. What letters remain are precious as gold. Slowly but surely I cleared away weeds, distracted only by the din far away. Suddenly appearing is the award of my deeds. Her name, Eliza Kilgore Barr. Before me that day, not alone as I thought, was made from the mystery I sought. As other tiny stones began to appear, lay 5 stillborn babies so precious and dear. As each tiny marker was cleared and cleaned, the crumbling stones began to speak. This beloved little family, so alone and bleak, was the story I had come to see. As I stood there gazing at this lonely old Holmesville graves, it seemed also almost amazing as their secrets were revealed through time's eternal haze. There lies a young mother with her treasured babies all alone, who so dearly wanted children to grace her sweet home. Here lies a young wife resting beneath this piece of earth, who gave her life in hopes and dreams of childbirth. Sleep in peace, Eliza, my dear. It was my love of family that brought me here. While I so meekly tell the story, your smiling face looks down from glory. As the seasons change and the world spins around, this old marble stones will soon someday fall down. But should you stroll through the hollowed ground, will you remember this lonely old grave that I found?
Well, when I was in the 5th grade, I had a teacher that taught me history, that I began to really like it. And as I grew older and I had a lot of time over my hands, I decided I'd study history. So I have, and I'm involved with Pike County, Mid-County, and all the wars. I've been working with that for several years. So when it was time for the 1812 marker, I knew that Luke Ward Connolly had written this story that we are talked about today and what the signing is about. And so I just went from there, and you know what Luke Ward Connolly said at the end of his article? He said of all the Mississippi history in Pike County, that this was the proudest thing he was, to find a soldier and reinter him in Chalmette Cemetery.
I came to Holmesville right after Katrina and refurbished or renovated an old home that was built in 1820, and really the first time I've done anything like that. And it was that got me interested in the history, not only of that house that I was redoing, but also of Holmesville. And I saw things going downhill and things not being kept up, and then I saw 2 or 3 people that were trying to do something, so I joined in, and I think that was probably my motivation was, I saw others that were worried about Holmesville, and it's a great piece of history. It has good people here. It's a small neighborhood now. Probably had 900 people in 1830, 1840. Now we're down to about 20. But we all look after each other. We watch things, and we know who comes and goes, and it's just great having neighbors like that, especially being 10 miles out of town.
It probably was the first great event of the new territory, and the importance, as I had mentioned in there, the importance of that war on the local people can be evidenced by the name of their county seat. Holmes is named after Andrew Holmes, who was killed in the War of 1812. The name they picked for the county, Pike, Zebulon Pike, was killed in the War of 1812. Those were War of 1812 heroes, and what makes the Southern experience different was the involvement of the Native American tribes in the period before that, where there was significant fear, and there was the creeks in Alabama. There were several creek massacres. It was a very dangerous period to be an early settler here, all by yourself in the middle of nowhere, and concerned about Indian attack. The John Ford's house over in Marion County, which was also on one of the routes they would cross. Andrew Jackson, when he was coming south, he crossed the Pearl River at John Ford's house, and the reason he did that was there was a ferry there. It was run by John Ford's brother, so he crossed Ford's ferry, and all of Jackson's troops crossed there, spent the night at Ford's fort. They called it a fort because it had a wooden wall around it to protect them from Indian attack. As you came a little bit more this way, the risk of Native American attack was not as significant because the Choctaws had become allies with the Americans. But there was, as you journeyed a little bit more east towards Fort Mims and Alabama, there was great fear.
Well, it's just important. It's important for you to know where you came from. My people were pioneers in Mississippi. They were here, and they fought in the War of 1812. They fought in every war that was ever coming up. They fought in it. Even my husband fought in World War II. So I just love doing it. You gotta like it.
I think it's important not only to our young people, but to everyone in our community, the old and the middle-aged like us, because it really is who we are, and not only knowing your history can you learn from history, but I think it sort of offers a window into ourselves about who we are. And you and I aren't that different than our ancestors 100 years ago that were here. They may have been in different political circumstances, and the social structure may have been a little different, but they still were human beings like you and I. And for me, it brings alive this area, and I know I bore my children when I take them to cemetery after cemetery, or I'm talking about this, but it's a great joy to me to drive any road in Pike County, and if you know some of the stories along the way, it just brings everything alive and makes it all so much more vital and wonderful. We live in a wonderful place. We live in a historic place, and we need to protect places like the old courthouse, and we need to recognize even such things as the War of 1812 and its impact on the county.